Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. Welcome back to a Division 2 video. Today we're gonna talk about the new exotic MP7 coming to the game, the OxPecker. This will be introduced to the game with Year 6 Season 3, and we're testing it out right now on the PTS. So this is what it looks like. It's just an MP7 with a huge red frame around it. It's a little bit too big, but that little circle around it on the front with that laser on it, that is definitely a cool addition, because whenever you aim in, this laser will spin around, and it's a quite of a cool gimmick for the gun. So this is what the new exotic MP7, the OxPecker, will look like. Of course, this is still the PTS, so there are still things subject to change, and I kinda hope they change the size of it, because it is a beast. So let's get over the stats of the weapon itself. The base damage is 46.4k, it has an RPM of 950, but because of my build that I'm running on with the striker, it's now 1093. The mag is 40-41, of course, with that bullet in the chamber. We have a headshot damage of 85%, and the optimal range is 32 meters. And this is quite a lot and will help this gun a lot as well. Of course, I went for damage to target out of cover on there. You'll see that the drop-off rate is quite a lot as well, so you can shoot on a decent range, but after a meter or 45, it will drastically drop off. So, of course, we will have an exotic talent as well, and that is Symbiosis. While having a shield deployed, lose shield health at a rate of 10% per second. So every time we put up our shield, we will get a health tick on our shield per second of 10%. But on the other side of this talent, your shield receives repairs of 25% of the damage dealt by this weapon. And this makes it a very interesting weapon. And to showcase you that a little bit better, we are on the shooting range. If we put our shield in front of our face, you will see it will go down in health, but the moment that we do damage, it goes back in health, as you can see. The moment that we do damage again, it goes back in health again. So you of course want to play around a little bit with putting that shield in front of your face while you're doing damage, not constantly keeping it in front of your face. Just play around with it a little bit more so it can get back to his health, and of course not getting those 10% health ticks. But if you're in a fight, you can keep that shield in front of you. Even if you're almost dead, you can start shooting, and that whole shield is back to his health again. And that's how this combination of the talent will work. And I almost forgot to talk about the mods, as this will give us that optimal range. As you can see, the OxPecker's optic is 50% optimal range, and that's how we can get to that 32. We can also compare it real quick. If we go over, we have the OxPecker, it has 32 meters of range. Ouroboros, 15 meters of range. Chatterbox, 21 meters of range, and these are both SMGs. So the OxPecker is already dominating the optimal range versus the Ouroboros and the Chatterbox, but even versus the Capacitor, 31 versus 32, Chameleon, 20 versus 32, St. Elmo's, 31 versus 32. So there are a bunch of weapons that don't even hit the optimal range that this OxPecker is hitting, even if it's an AR. And that is what makes this gun very interesting, and that is also, of course, throughout that optic that we get, that 50% optimal range. Underbarrel will give us 15% crit chance, and the muzzle will give us 15% headshot damage, although I would love to have seen this being critical hit damage, especially because we also only have 3 attachments for this weapon, only 3 mod slots, so I would love to have seen this being critical hit damage instead of headshot damage. It is still a little bit doubtful because Of course, everybody and their mom thinks, okay, let's build into armor cores. Let's go into as much shield health as possible. And that shield health will definitely help you out as well. But overall, the sheer damage will keep your shield up more times than if you go into a more armor core. This is, of course, talking without the modifiers active, because when we have these modifiers active, this gun with the shield and the right modifiers is just unstoppable. It is a lot of fun to play around with, but I feel like this gun is a little bit more made towards the season. And I like that. It's great that we will have a weapon that is a little bit built more towards the season and what we can do throughout that new season. But this gun still should perform without the season. If you don't want to play with the modifiers, if you don't want to play with the season active, that would be your choice. And this gun should still work then. Or even if the season is over, this gun should still work as well. And I feel like the exotic really shines when the modifiers are on. You can of course decide for yourself, but under right circumstances, this gun, even without the modifiers, in combination with the shield, can just face tank legendary content, and that is a very, very interesting take. Of course, we're still testing out a lot on the PTS. Like I already mentioned in the intro, everything is still subject to change, so they might adjust it a little bit, but I'm a little bit in the middle, because on the one side, it feels very, very powerful in the combination with that shield. And on the other side, it feels a little bit underwhelming. And in my opinion, it might need a little bit more mag size or maybe a little bit more damage. Again, I'm no mathematician. We have to wait on DOT, IKEA to come in with all those calculations. But overall, I don't know what to exactly feel about this gun. It's fun, it is very, very powerful and almost unstoppable with the modifiers on. But without the modifiers, you can get through with it, but is this then the way to go? Will you always want to put that shield in front of your face? And are you constantly being forced to put that shield in front of your face? Because we know throughout Lincoln, for example, what you see in the background right now, we can also run this without a healing shield. We can also run this with a full red build. So is this really needed, or are you just too focused on your shield in the combination with this weapon? It looks like a great addition, but I'm still really on the fence. Let me know in the comments down below what you have been testing out or what you have been seeing from other creators, other streamers out there. I would love to hear your opinion about this weapon, especially if you tested it out yourself. We can still test all of this out on the PTS all the way up to Wednesday. As long as you have the game on Ubisoft Connect, you can download the PTS for free. But that's pretty much it for me today. I will leave some gameplay playing, but I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for sticking until the end. Like the video if you liked the video or helped you out in any way or form. And of course, if you're new here and or you want to be updated about the Division 2, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you in the next one. Enjoy the gameplay.